Hello there, everyone out there on the internet watching us from Twitch. And YouTube. I suppose I can say hello to YouTube in the future as well. We are Telling Tales. We do atmospheric role-playing games and put them on Twitch, as I just mentioned, and YouTube, as I also just mentioned. I'm Sam, and I'm going to be doing some Warhammer Fantasy 4th Edition RP tonight. This is our second session, and I'm really excited to get into the action. There might just be a bit of combat. Little spoiler. A little spoiler there. There might be a tiny bit of combat in this session. We'll have to see. But anyway, before we get to things, let's do a tiny bit of promo. So, as I said, we're Telling Tales, Twitch, YouTube on afterwards with the videos that we do. We also have social media down below. You can check things out, join things like Discord and the like to chat with us. And yeah, we do streams every week. So I'm going to get right this time. So we do Into the Odd on Wednesdays at the moment. We have the Simba Room crew who are kind of taking a break and doing Into the Odd for a little bit as kind of a switch things up for a few weeks. Don't know exactly how long, we'll see. World of Darkness, I believe, is now officially returning this Thursday for the 4th, 5th, whatever it is, arc, which is going to be Wraith, which I'm really excited for. 4th arc, which is Wraith. And we have one-shots, which we do once a month. The last one was... No, Tales from the Loop was one before. What was the last one? Did we do one last one? Death in Space. Thank you. We do need a teleprompter, you're right. Well, I mean, that kind of is a teleprompter. It's just got like a delay of about 5 seconds, which makes me look stupid. Death in Space. I didn't participate in it. I've been really busy, so I haven't watched it yet, so that's why I didn't remember it. But it looks like it was great. And next month, we're going to be playing Merc Borg. I think we're returning to that grim and dark place that we were last year. Probably about the same time as summer last year, actually. But anyway, without further ado, let's get to some Warhammer. So, first of all, I'm going to bring on, I believe it was Jonny first, wasn't it? To kind of introduce his character and tell us a little bit about what happened. So
Hello.
Jonny plays our lovely dwarven artisan, craftsperson, Smith, trainee Smith, safe to say. How are you doing, Jonny?
Good, thank you. Yeah, so we started off everybody traveling towards the town of Nuln for various reasons. So Okri is heading there. He's sort of nearing the end of his apprenticeship. A very hard fought for apprenticeship, but now feels that his master is using him as an assistant more than an apprentice, and not really sort of passing on any more skills than Okri already has in his arsenal. So he's heading to Nuln, where there is a military tattoo to have a look at some weapons and maybe make some connections. And Okri's kind of dream is to set up his own forge, so sort of maybe doing a little bit of research towards that and looking at branching out.
But I believe you left Altdorf with a few fellows as well, didn't you?
Yeah, so there is Kruger. So I'm the only dwarf. It's three humans make up the rest of the party. So Kruger, Okri thinks he may be some kind of nobility. He isn't, but everybody thinks he might be. And Kruger is sort of traveling around. He's trying to get some money, experience, and gear, and is hoping to potentially join the Sons of Ulrich and assist them in fighting the Beastmen in his homeland, because he's not from where we're from. Well, where Okri is from.
Yes, he's a Midlander from the north.
Yeah.
Strange and rough people.
And then he has a servant, Boniface, who is loyal to Kruger, but also is hoping to kind of climb the ladder. And maybe, again, I think he's of the opinion that Kruger is some kind of nobility. But is aware that if he is, he's sort of low down, so is hoping to potentially work his way up. So yeah, he's traveling with Kruger until potentially something better comes along. And Henrik, the rat catcher, who has a very talented dog with him called Rinder, and all that we know about Henrik is that he is going to Nuln to follow up on some interesting rumors.
Indeed, very mysterious. So yes, as Jonny was saying, the group are 4 people traveling out of Altdorf. Last session was our first session, if you didn't catch it. They're all kind of well, perhaps not quite totally new, but a little bit new to kind of adventuring in the world, heading to Nuln in the hopes of new things in one way or another. But before we got there, some things happened last session. So why don't we bring on Justin to introduce the beginning of the session we played?
Yeah, great. So we were
I think
traveling.
we've had kind of introduction to the characters, sorry, by Jonny there, so I don't really need to introduce Boniface now. Sorry.
No, Boniface, hero of the story. And we were traveling on our way through the woods and came across, well, we were looking for somewhere to stay. We were getting a bit tired about halfway through our journey and came across a small village where we might spend the night. You know, how many good stories have started that way? So many. And so we rushed into the village, or Boniface rushed into the village and disturbed some chickens and caused a mess. May have fallen over, allegedly. And the group arrived just as the rain started to really pour, ready to go into the one inn present in the village.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, indeed. And as I think it was Boniface and Kruger were hanging back for a moment, it was Henrik and Okri headed in first, and they saw a few interesting things in the tavern. And for that, we'll bring on John playing Henrik, the rather talented rat catcher.
Hello. So Henrik walked in, immediately performed a rat-based optical pat-down of the building, and managed to, or tried to, bargain an exchange of beds for the night for the crew in exchange for rat liberating / proofing this establishment. It kind of worked, other than the fact that there weren't any spare rooms. The only spare room was being held for the representative of an official from Altdorf who hadn't turned up yet. But Boniface managed to negotiate us taking the landlady's room. So we had somewhere to sleep in the end.
Wasn't at all awkward.
Wasn't was it? It was fine. And then everyone just kind of set to sort of getting to know the locals a bit. Boniface had a polite but also quite short conversation with Elsa, who is the leader of the local militia, who was basically just making sure that the striking man in Midland colours wasn't here to cause any trouble. And that was about it. Sam? Question mark?
Yeah, the only other thing was the game in the
goes.
corner. The game in the corner was the only other thing. If you want to mention,
I got the feeling that our fourth player was going to be covering the game, but on walking in, we saw a dwarf and an elf in the corner playing some kind of game that wasn't Nefertafel. I've forgotten what it was called in Warhammer.
Oh, Alpha Taffel? I think it was that. I'm not.
You can't remember.
It's Warhammer for Taffel.
Warhammer. They were playing Warhammer for Taffel. They were playing fantasy chess, basically fantasy Viking chess in the corner, and had managed to acquire a small crowd that were all quite entertained.
Indeed. And Okri went over to watch them for a bit and was pleased to see the young dwarven woman defeating the elegant elven man playing the game, going over to celebrate with a few drinks. And yes, speaking of, I can't remember exactly what your wording was now, striking Midlanders or something like that. We'll bring on Steve, our final player, playing Kruger, the Midlander.
Good evening.
Hey, Steve. So you were going to mention a little bit about what happened at the end of the evening and overnight while you were asleep.
Yes. Yes, Kruger was sort of merrily standing out like a sore thumb in Midland colours and just propping up the bar. when he was approached by a priest. It was obviously from Temple of Sigmar, with hammer, sort of symbol, and twin-tailed comet, that sort of thing. And this was apparently Father Stillman, although Kruger didn't actually find out his name until later on. And Father Stillman had essentially, again, was checking to see whether I was going to cause trouble, which was, wouldn't do that unless somebody, was rude to me or provoked me in some way or challenged me, and none of that has happened so far. So we're good. But Father Stillman did mention that there had been some trouble recently around the town with some beasts in the forest, and apparently, and here we are with the names. Albrecht von Helsnacht had been around recently, I believe, with some forces to try and root out beasts in the forest, but I believe was unsuccessful.
Mm-hmm.
And had headed up north, I think.
I think I've been trying to track the beastmen for some time in the area over the last month, but hadn't had any luck, and had headed off north to try and find them wherever they have fled to in the forest. Yeah.
So I'd agreed to speak more with Father Stillman the next morning at the temple to try and get some. I figured I could probably get some exercise in, do a bit of tracking, some proper sword work, maybe get a bit of coin. But in the meantime, night was drawing in, so luckily for us, the representative of here we go.
The Archduke.
Hang on. Archduke Adalbert von Bürgenberg.
Yep, that's good.
Yes, so their representative had not turned up. They were due to arrive. They hadn't turned up, so the room that was reserved for them was still available. So we were able to make use of that and at least start to get some sleep, which was rudely interrupted fairly early on. Boniface heard a noise in the night, looked out of the window and saw flame and heard cries. And we ran outside to discover that there were in fact beastmen attacking the village.
They were indeed. I think you'll find Boniface woke you quite politely, in fact. It was everyone else who had impolite waking.
Yes.
Perhaps unusually politely, given the immediate threat of potential death occurring around you.
I think Ockery got a kick in the ribs, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I feel like Ockery's not going to forget
That's
that.
right.
Dwarves never forget a grudge, so... Hey, wait a minute. You know what your faith, one of the primary tenets of your faith, Boniface, is respect to dwarf folk.
I do respect dwarves, but I don't. But it's his class that I've got a problem with, not him being a dwarf.
Oh right, I see.
Ockery is also a dwarf of few words and many actions, so you won't know that he's annoyed at you until you get kicked back in the ribs, probably.
An assault upon me is an assault upon my master's property, which will not be tolerated.
I don't know if that's your decision to make in this case. Anyway, so yes, you've all dashed out of the tavern and into the street. There are cries of panic and other less pleasant cries around you as people are presumably being set upon by the terrible beasts. As you kind of step outside into the streets, the middle of the night in the village. It's dark. It's still pouring with rain out here, and there's mud in the streets. The bell of Warlin Temple across the, I'd say road. It's not a road. It's just kind of a mucky track. Is ringing now. Clearly, someone inside is ringing it, calling everyone there, tolling the bell. Not good omens, unfortunately. There is an unpleasant, steaming, acrid kind of atmosphere. The smell is very intense now. As I mentioned last time, kind of a smell of wet dog and death. Darkness, fire. Interestingly, despite the heavy rainstorm and downpour, there is still fire burning. So whether it's just a lot of effort being put into this fire or whether there's something unnatural going on, who knows. And screams and other stranger guttural sounds that you wouldn't think a human throat could make ring through the air as you're standing there in front of the temple. You see other people flocking towards the temple, and kind of in front of you, the militia seem to be kind of trying to form a protective ring around the entrance. You can see Elsa there. Rorak the dwarf is already run there ahead of you as the group from where you were. You don't see others that you recognize, just kind of villagers rushing around. Everyone seems to be trying to head for the temple. What are you going to do? I'll put up a picture of that Ungor from last session. Sorry, Bob.
Make sure we're armed, got our weapons out, and surely the right thing is to head to the temple. That's where everyone else is going.
I just want to briefly ask, have we had an intentional retcon?
Yeah.
Because
Last week, I believe
I wasn't sure whether we've done a Dragon Ball Z where the beginning of the next episode slightly rewinds and pads out the end of the...
That would be very confusing.
Well, you saw an Ungor at the end of the last episode, correct?
Yeah.
But
yes.
Yeah. There's also I just hadn't mentioned the Ungor that was there in this kind of scene. I feel like they're a distance away, and you saw them silhouetted, so they're not right up close. So you can put the picture back up now if you like.
Oh, there it is. Right.
It's on my screen, ready to share. So that shot of that Ungor as they are, that's kind of a silhouette you see like maybe like 100 yards away at the forest's edge. So they're not like right in the middle of
the forest's edge. Right. Okay, right. Okay.
But I gave that up to give an impression of the shape that you saw, not that that's what you see right in front of your face. Sorry, I might not have described that precisely. Maybe I did, and I'm just retconning myself. Who cares? I'm the GM.
Like I said, it's a Dragon Ball Z ending.
Yeah, precisely. So yes, you can see beastmen moving around at the edge of the village in the trees. So it's up to you whether perhaps Kruger decides the best action is to charge at them now. I don't know. Boniface has certainly suggested the temple.
If there was one right in front of me, there'd be no question. But if they're sort of milling around, if there's more than one, if I can see shapes, moving around at the edge of the forest, yeah, definitely checking at the temple first, I think, and see how many fighters we have available. What sort of
go to join the militia sort of thing would make sense from a soldier's perspective. Yeah, I feel like is anyone else thinking of anything else in this moment, or are you all going to kind of follow Kruger's lead and kind of think that's the sensible thing to do?
I clutch the nearest person to me, who I'm going to say is Boniface, and hiss through gritted teeth, the rats have sent reinforcements.
Cool.
I killed them all, and they brought this on us.
Well, I mean, this is exactly what I expect of a rat catcher in terms of sanity and composure. So, yeah.
Are you just kind of nodding and smiling and trying to move towards them?
I think that I hardly even hear Heinrich when faced with the actual terror of beastmen. So he could say literally anything, and I would just be like, "He's the crazy rat catcher." He could say perfectly reasonable things, and I'd have the same opinion.
That's fair.
Okay, fair enough. Presumably, Henrik, you're not like gripping hard onto Boniface, so Boniface can move away towards the temple.
He might have to untangle himself a bit, but
are we going to make a check for escaping?
I can delicately untangle myself from Heinrich.
Okay, that's fine. Presumably, you both move towards the temple anyway. And Okri, you happy to follow Kruger's lead in this as well?
Yeah, I think Okri would be aware enough of Kruger's sort of military, kind of thing as a soldier to think he'll know what to do best in this situation. I'll be ready to hit anything that we see on the way. But yeah.
Hopefully not Boniface.
You did kick him, so
yeah, exactly. Ready for that at some point. Just got to wait for it anytime. If I press stop share, it'll go straight back to that. So that's cool. Okay, now I can get my notes back up.
So I think I start making my way towards the temple. If Heinrich is attached onto me, then fair enough.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so everyone kind of draws in. The temple's across the street, but it's quite wide. It's like an open area, not sort of like a market square, but sort of just mucky and open. So you make your way across as you do, and then I think I would like everyone to make me a. Is it perception? It is perception. Yes. I really need to have a character sheet open next to me somewhere, but that would probably explode my computer, having it. what's it called, PDFs open is already pushing it to its limit. I want to say this is going to be a challenging, so that's going to be no modifier.
Then I fail.
I fail.
Okri? Okay then. No one notices. We're going to. You're all drawing towards
Does
the.
Rinda notice? Seeing as how we looked up Rinda's stat block.
This isn't the sort of thing Rinda would notice. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Good idea.
that's
though.
fine.
It's worth mentioning in future. As you're kind of rushing up to the chapel, you're kind of almost up to Elsa now, standing at the front with her sword drawn and a shield. She kind of yells something and then starts running away from the entrance towards your kind of left. And there's presumably, you look at where she's running, you see kind of an old farmer has tripped and fallen while trying to make it to the temple, and his two younger women are kind of trying to help him up. And then you see not far behind them a group of Ungors, a fair little group of them. Looks like at least 5.
Is it
charging
live tragic?
set upon them.
Oh well.
Boniface, keep moving in because this is a that's a split second decision. That's fine.
Well, Krug would immediately, on sighting these, head after Elsa and
Cool.
sword
Okay.
out.
Yeah, that's fine.
Would he call Boniface? Come on, Boniface.
To be fair, that probably wouldn't be
I
the
think
first thing
you-
in your mind, would it?
No,
Would it?
well, I
Yeah.
would think, I would presume that a good servant would
Yeah, I think that's
need to be
reasonable.
told.
I'm gonna give
Um,
I'm gonna give Justin. I'm gonna give Boniface another perception roll in a minute to notice while you're kind of going into the temple where the Kruger's not with you. But that's in a moment. What are Henrik and Oki doing? Henrik,
Rinda, circle.
and are you kind of staying put, or are you going to follow Kruger?
I'm going to follow Kruger.
Okay. Okri.
I am also following Kruger.
Cool. Boniface, everyone's not going into the temple with you, so this is
I
an
would
easy
notice
roll.
that.
So that's
Yeah,
a plus 40. No, we're going to make you roll.
I got 62. So
Okay,
which
you're
is
fine
which
with
is
plus
within only 20 within 20 of my perception or something or 20 something.
Yeah, easy's plus 40, so you'd have to really mess up to fail. You're all
Yeah.
good.
So I would obviously go with my meal ticket / master. So
Excellent. Okay, so you'll be effectively a round behind in this circumstance then.
sounds good.
But presumably, given that the old man is kind of scrambling up now, but it's very clear that the Ungors are about to be upon him, you are going to engage them in combat.
The instruction for circle, by the way, is like a herding maneuver to try and distract the
Ah, I
Ungors.
see. So you're
Okay.
sending Rinda
Yeah.
around. Okay. I'm going to make you make a check for that because this isn't
That's-
exactly usual rat hunting behavior, but that's
Yeah,
perfectly
how-
reasonable if you can get the check.
How many armor points does Rinda's plot armor have? Just asking for a friend who really cares about Rinda. It's called Okri.
I think it's infinite until the plot demands it,
Yeah,
Precisely.
until we need a crushingly emotional scene.
Oh,
which
no,
isn't going to
come
be
on.
the second episode. Come on.
Yeah, no. You can all die. That's fine. But no.
Animal training roll.
Yeah, that will be right.
Okay.
And it's going to be, I think, this is average, so plus 20.
Plus 20. It's a target of 67.
You're not asking to attack or anything. You're just asking to circle. So.
Oh, I got 9.
Oh, very nice. Not quite a crit, but you definitely did it. So that's what was your with the plus 20 target?
67.
So yeah, so that is 5.
5?
Yeah, so that's a really good success. I can't remember what they call it in this. I need to get my proper sheet up.
I'm happy with just
amazing
really good
success.
success.
A
Amazing
Warhammer amazing. Success.
Yeah, exactly what you wanted Rinda to do. Rinda does in every way. So Rinda immediately circles the beastmen to try and draw their attention, barking at them. I think that's fair. I'm gonna actually roll to see how distracted beastmen are. Oh yeah, okay, fair enough. So this is a group of, now you've got a little bit more. It's still difficult to see, actually. I don't think you can see properly clearly because all of this fire around. It's a really stormy, rainy night. And wait, Henrik and Okri have night vision, don't they? Correct?
Boniface has low light
Yep.
vision.
Oh, great.
Okay. So actually, in this circumstance, I say all three of you, other than Kruger. So it is everyone but Kruger can see 7 Ungors charging at this man. Kruger, you see a group of Ungors. Cool. I need to get my. There we go. I've got my thing. Yeah. Cool. Impressive success. Yeah, and as you're watching this, because you got such a good success, 2 of the Ungors are completely distracted and confused by this strange, small, yapping monster, and decide that they must chase after it. And Rinda proceeds to run off down the street with 2 Ungors chasing her. Him. Not like straight away from you, kind of just around. You can actually see where Rinda's going. It's almost like leading them in a silly circle.
Good dog.
So now you have 5 Ungors charging at your group. Well, the old people at the moment, the old guy at the moment. So before we engage in combat, both you and them have a chance to throw/use a ranged weapon, if you wish. Other than Boniface, because Boniface has just turned around to notice this happening.
I mean, it's time to protest, right? My lord, surely it would be better.
Yeah, that's what's happening. Does anyone else have a ranged weapon other than Boniface?
I
don't have a ranged weapon.
Oh, I thought you had a bow. Oh, you have bow skill, but not a bow. Is that right?
I have a stone. There are stones around.
Yeah, you could throw something. Go on, you're going to say, Henrik.
I have a sling, which I take out and load, but I choose not to fire it.
Okay, that's fair. Why not? Are you going to aim, give it a good shot?
Because one of the strictures of my religion is violence is prohibited except in self-defense, and I don't think I'm an immediate threat yet for it to count as self-defense.
Right.
I want
Defense
get
of
hit
others
first.
doesn't count.
I mean, are beast men?
I was about to say, to be fair to your
You kill rats
religion,
without self-defense.
I would say it
allies of
associates to
rats.
anything that would be considered sentient in society, and like you might consider like your dog would probably count as that, but beastmen in this society would not. Beastmen would not, like they're the equivalent of rats. They'd be like they're sub sentient. They're considered
Can beastmen talk?
Probably doesn't even apply to dwarves.
Not as far as you know. As far as you know, they're mindless creatures of just rage and destruction. I mean, they are definitely chaos corrupted in some form, as far as you know as well. So, yeah, destroying, even though you're not particularly like, you're not like Sigmar or Ulrich worshipper, like destroy the beast and that sort of, and chaos. I don't think it would apply in this circumstance.
In that case, yeah, I'm gonna loose a stone.
Okay, so it's a bonus for a larger group. Sorry, this is our first time running combat and Warhammer Fantasy, so there might be a little bit of scrolling around.
We're going to be teaching you how to do the combat as we go, as we learn ourselves.
Alternatively, you can teach us.
Yeah. I think there's some people here who probably know it pretty well. So yeah, now we can make fools of ourselves. So combat difficulty.
So rolling to hit.
Once I just need to check the combat difficulty, which is pay 161. Sorry.
Could you roll, John, before?
Yeah, you can do that.
To give us something to do.
Oh, I'm in the wrong
I
document.
can roll. I'm rolling against range sling 40.
Yeah, ballistic skill and your range. How much extra do you have for sling? Do you have any points in it?
Yeah.
Nice.
I got my ballistics is 31 and my skill is an extra 9. So a target of 40 plus whatever.
Very nice. Oh my god, why is this document so big?
Ooh, I rolled a very nice 69, which isn't actually that nice because it probably completely misses.
No, you're shooting into a group though, which gives you quite a big bonus.
Okay.
So you're shooting into a group of, I'm going to say it is 7, even though 2 of them have kind of split off at the moment. Once they move further, it's going to be less than that. So that's a plus 40 for your difficulty.
Nice.
And it's a minus 10 for your difficulty because it's dark and rain. So it's a plus
Not
13
nice.
total.
So I succeed by 1 point.
That's still nice enough.
Yeah.
That's a hit. It's
a hit.
Mm-hmm.
My damage is plus SB plus 2.
Okay.
I think
SB
damage
again.
is strength bonus.
Yeah,
Right.
strength bonus.
I
That
believe
would apply
damage,
to
at least in melee weapons, it's the success level plus, in your case, strength bonus plus 2.
I was reading my dagger damage. My sling damage is just plus 6.
plus 6. Okay. So
So
plus
success
6
level
plus
plus 6.
Yeah, plus, so it will be 7 in total. That's pretty good.
Amazing.
And they have armor 1. So reverse your roll to see. It wasn't a double, was it? It was 69.
96.
Yeah. Reverse your roll. So 96 is your hit location.
Okay.
And then I can refer to the combat thing to see what that means for hit location.
I think that's
56.
right leg.
Right leg,
Unless
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
Indeed.
And sorry, this will be faster in time. So they have 1 armor on right leg.
What shin shot?
So they have 1 armor on right leg,
Does
and they have
hurt.
the toughness bonus is 3, so that's 4 armor in total. So you do.
I don't care how
As a-
tough
as
you
a-
are.
As a long-time skateboarder, I can confirm that taking a hard hit to the shin can remove
That's
you
gonna
from
mess
any
you
kind
up.
of activity for some time.
So you do 3 damage to the leg. You do 3 wounds damage to one of the Ungors.
Nice.
Okay, so I'm going to do 2. I should write this down. I should have written this down before.
Basically dead, I would say.
Not quite basically dead.
Well,
And
we'll agree to disagree on that one.
these 2 are off chasing dogs, so it's only these 5 we're going to worry about. That one is -3. Cool. Okay. Now, they are going to do some... Let's see. 3 of them are going to throw javelins.
At the poor old man,
Basically.
right?
Basically sticks. 2 of them are going to throw javelins at the poor old man and his family. 1 is going to throw javelin at Henrik, because it was the one that had a stone at it, and it was like, ow. But it's going to get a minus because it's just been kind of knocked off a leg.
I suppose
And
they
they
are
are-
also firing into a group.
Yeah, they count as firing into a group, so it might not be Henrik it hits. I'm just going to roll the dice for random. But they don't get such a bonus because the group's smaller. Okay, so I'm going to roll for Ungor number 1, ballistic skill. And then they're -20 because I'm being a bit cheeky because you guys were
Dire.
moving, but it's fine. I didn't give you the movement bonus, but they are because they were actively sprinting. So they're -20 plus missed by 2. Okay, that one missed.
Yes.
95, that's definitely a miss. And 48, so that one's going to hit. And that one, I didn't decide which was which, so 2 to 1, that's going for the family. So, you're so awful.
Boniface.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I'm not a good person. I don't need to explain myself to you.
3 of them in the family, and that's going to go for the... Okay. And it's a hit, and that was by 2 success levels. And a javelin is, I've got it here, plus 6 as well. Okay, so that is... She's just going to be wearing clothes, so that is 5 wounds for her.
Tough.
But it wasn't a double, so it wasn't a critical. Wounds in this game are kind of like, they're not like, oh, you've been stabbed through your chest by a javelin. That's like a critical wound, and there's loads of different critical wounds. Wounds in this are more like sprains and strains and bruises and like cuts and exhaustion. So the idea, I think, where she's being hit by that javelin is not like it's pierced her, So I'll kind of describe the circumstances. The Ungor has thrown said javelin,
Just
and
a
it's kind of
flesh wound.
battered her. It's battered her to the ground and scraped across her back, but it's not like stuck in her. But like it's exhausted her and knocked her to the ground. She's in shock for a moment from see.
That sucks.
Okay.
Do we want to put up an initiative?
Now we're in initiative.
Right.
That I was about to say. So that was our little
Cool.
skirmishing round, and now
Okay.
we're going to go into full combat. So initiative order. Do we have a thing to put up? Oh,
I
I need to
can.
tell you them first.
Yes.
The Ungors are initiative 30.
Initiative 30. Okay.
Elsa is initiative. If my thing decides to load. There we go. I think she was quite high. Elsa is initiative 45.
Oh, okay. It sounds like Elsa is going first.
Mhm.
And Henrik at 42.
Mhm.
Then Boniface at 31. Is Rinda? No, Rinda's off now. Correct?
Keep
Yeah,
it.
let's not have Rinda in.
Sure.
Well, yeah, no, let's not have Rinda in this. I'll just
ignore him.
Yeah, Rinda's
Oh.
gonna be doing their own thing at this point.
We have
Well-
Elsa, Henrik, Boniface, the Ungors at 30, and then Okri, and then Kruger, I believe.
Mhm.
So
We'll loosen them up, and then you can knock it out of the park.
I think
Okay,
that's, is that does that look right? Are we good?
That looks right to me. I think so.
Looks great.
Cool. So this is, I suppose we should put the family on there as well. Actually, I'm gonna say that. Could you put them after you, Kruger? Because they're gonna be kind of
Sure,
like
yeah.
the slowest in the circumstance.
I was going to say on Simbaroom we have a bit of we tend to just random NPCs that you don't really care about just go at the end.
Yeah.
Uh,
They're not going to do anything. They're just there for flavor.
Exactly. I mean, it's quite important how well they do at the thing. I am going to roll for them, but because I like rolling for NPCs. It's
Sure,
always fun.
let's do that then. That sounds good.
So Elsa is gonna charge straight in, and she's gonna yell, "Sigmar, give me strength!" as she does so, and just leap at the Ungor that looks like it's nearest to getting one of the family. And that is a charge which gives you a bonus. Somewhere. I definitely made a note on charge somewhere. Yeah, here we go. +1 advantage. Okay, she gains an advantage automatically by charging. So she's going to just hit an Ungor and roll a 9. So that's definitely going to succeed with her weapon skill bonus of 55 because she's pretty good. And what's her weapon? I think her weapon was like +9 too. Unfortunately, not a double, so she doesn't crit it. Oh, it doesn't give me a weapon bonus for her. Okay, +9. That seems fair. She's pretty well equipped. None of the other militia are, but she's pretty good. That was 1, 2, 3, 4 plus an advantage already. So, okay. So she does 14 wounds outright. So she just straight up. So Elsa leaps in and with an overhead chop, just basically completely severs the arm of one of the Ungors. And I know that's a critical strike, but she's killed one, so I'm allowed to do it now as a just from the wounds mechanic. And this
turning into a
Ungor,
competition, obviously,
with a unpleasant bleat, black blood oozes from its side, and it kind of collapses half, trying to reach up towards the sword. As the other Ungors that were charging, that were slightly behind, clearly changed their mind and charge Elsa instead, given there's something much more pressing to worry about. And that's that one. Completely dead. So,
Goodness.
Henrik.
Okay, I'm gonna ready another stone in my sling.
Sounds good. I'm happy for you to be like, and how is Rinda doing if you want to give Rinda another command as well? But Rinda is doing fine. Rinda, there's nothing particular happened in this time yet, to be fair.
I'm sort of half listening to the barking of him just randomly running around and going, yeah, he's fine.
All good, all good.
Now then, do you get an advantage for succeeding last round? Is that the same for ranged weapons as it is?
Yeah, I think I will use that. We weren't actually in combat rounds at that point, but that seems fair because it would be a bit mean of me to not carry over the advantage. So yes, I'm going to say you're already at +1 advantage, so that's going to be +1 skill level to your roll. So that does make it 1 point easier to succeed, as in a 10 easier to succeed if you see what I mean. And then you're -10, and then plus the group's smaller now, so it's going to be +20.
Okay.
Plus another 10 for your advantage to hit.
So a total of +20.
Yes.
So I rolled. My target is 60, and I rolled 24.
Mm-hmm.
So that is 3 success levels or 4. It doesn't matter.
4.
It's a sling.
Yeah.
So that's +6 damage.
Yep. And it does give you always get the plus success level damage for your. For your
yes.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Okay. So plus 10 damage. That one. That was a good one. So and what was your
reverse it would be 42, so that would be right arm.
Thank you. Okay. So right arm. I'm going to completely random because it's dark and you can't really. No, with that success level you could choose. Were you going for the same Ungor you hit last time?
Yes.
Okay, I think you was a good enough shot that you managed to do it. So it's going to negate 1, 2, 3 on the right arm, 4. So it's and that was 9 damage. No, 10 damage we said, didn't we?
10 damage.
Cool. Okay, so that is extra 6 damage. Oh, okay. So this Ungor that's kind of just grabbing its leg to try and get itself back to running after having had a mighty whack on the right knee, I think, or right leg, I think we said right knee, It's kind of limping and crooked, gets whacked right on the arm and twists around as it happens. It's not like the arm has come off or been like knocked completely free or anything like that, but you gave it a really big battering with this, and it doesn't kind of collapse completely, but it's like on a knee and on an elbow, kind of like going ah and yelling with furious red eyes kind of at the sky. It's not looking like a happy uncle.
Excellent.
Okay, Boniface.
I'm going to pick up a rock and I'm going to throw it at the group.
Yeah, sure. Sounds good. Sounds good.
The group of Ungors, or
Well,
Do we have?
the old man? I'm going to throw it at the old man. If he dies,
We can go.
well, that's time, boys. That's time.
jeez.
I'm going to throw it at the Ungors. Yeah,
So I don't really have rules for improvised.
I've checked them up, so it's fine.
Thank you.
And it is I miss. I rolled 93. I don't know if it's possible to hit with that.
You do hit the old man.
If it helps.
No, if it was a
is,
95
31.
plus, I would have been rolling to see if you'd hit Elsa or the old man or someone else in the family. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
You're
I've just
good.
thrown a rock in the middle, just like
Just
Ugh.
sails right through the group. Just
Kruger, you start charging and your face gets splattered as a rock lands next to you in the mud.
jeez.
well, you know, I don't mind. I tried. I helped.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so now it's the Ungors. So two of them are still, if they're not completely chasing Rinder, they're certainly distracted by Rinder and are not coming at you. One of them is currently they are seeping. Their innards are seeping into the muck, and they're twitching on the ground. There are 4 remaining that are still active and ready to fight. Let's do the wounded one first. Which, as I say, the wounds in this, it's not like it's less capable of doing things, but it's certainly not looking very happy. And that one is, if it can get the chance, it wouldn't be able to charge past Elsa. No one else is in combat, are they? So Elsa's kind of the most interesting one for all of them. So I'm going to say highest chance. Yep, it's going to charge Elsa. And its attack, that's a good attack. And it's going to be, I should be checking their advantage as well. So that's going to be on -2 advantage. Remember, you're on +2 advantage, Henrik, for your successes attacking. And Boniface, I don't think you get a minus for failing to attack in ranged because you're not engaged with someone. So you're fine. There's no disadvantage there. This one has -2 advantage, but it gets +1 from charging. So it rolled 25 and it has 35 weapon skill. So that is.
And is this is melee? So is this a contested?
Yes, it will be. So that is the roll. So I have to just roll 2 now. So that, and it's the number of success levels below their target. So that's two success levels below the target number with that -2 advantage because it rolled pretty well. And what's her name will not get a bonus for. Elsa will not get a bonus for her charge, but she does get her +1 advantage in the circumstance. So that is 1. She also gets 2 success levels, so that is a draw. So now we just compare their skill, and Elsa's is higher. So the Ungor does not succeed at hitting her. That was quite smooth. I'm going to hang this. But the Ungor did
Glad
not.
you
follow.
are.
It's all right. It's all right. We'll take it slow. I'm just trying. When I'm running the NPCs, I'm going to speed up.
Yeah.
Did a fair amount of reading beforehand, and it's always like you skip every single rule when you're doing NPC on NPC as well. So, cool. But Elsa's still on +1, so Ungor number 3 is going to try and get one of the family around Elsa. And that what you're awful, Boniface. I wanted to get you. Can it change its mind? And it's going to succeed at that with a charge because this one doesn't have any disadvantage. I think this family member is going to attempt to dodge effectively, but they don't have any bonuses in that, so that'll just be like a 30 average then. And they roll a 97, so they critically fail at their dodge.
Oh
So,
dear.
I don't think there's a specific rule for that in this case, so I'm just going to give a +1 advantage to the Ungor who rolled a 24. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4 successes, including their charge. +6. Oh no. Oh no, and it's the same woman who was hit earlier.
Oh,
no. Okay.
Oh no! Ooh,
She has a toughness
so
bonus
bad.
of Yeah, this Ungor leaps in behind her, and in one sudden motion, the spear kind of erupts from her belly as the Ungor. She was trying to kind of roll out of the way after having been whacked earlier on by the one across her back, but it proceeds to stab her into the ground, and she's making an unpleasant moaning, weeping sound, but you don't think she's going to live for many more seconds.
Well, it is supposed to be grimdark, I guess. So.
Yeah.
No, that's the other Warhammer.
Oh, is it? Is this just grim? Oh, grim and perilous. This is grim and perilous.
I think it is grim and perilous. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I love how they changed that. 47. So this one is also going to charge Elsa. It's not a very good roll from them. It got 1 success, and Elsa got 2 successes. So Elsa, it also beats them. Do you get advantage for? No, you don't get advantage for succeeding in defense. It's just an attack you get it for. So
I think so.
she's not getting more advantage from this. That would be a bit ridiculous.
Although
that
if you beat an opposed roll, then you gain then you get advantage, right?
You do, including in defense.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
If you win an opposed test during combat, gain +1 advantage.
In that case, Elsa is at +3 advantage now. She's doing real well.
Okay, this is kind of scary.
Okay, and then there is one more Ungor. And that one did roll that. That one's going to go for your group.
Great.
It's going to charge right past Elsa. Oh, we got a good roll too. Okay, so that is a 16, and I'm going to roll randomly to see which one of you it goes for. That is going to go for Kruger, looking scary and probably the most obvious of all of us in this moment. So that is got a 14, so it rolled pretty well there. So you're going to have to roll an opposed for me. It's got plus 10, -10, so it's neutral because the charge and it's mucky and horrible. So you're just on a -10, I think, because it's mucky and horrible, and you don't get your charge in this circumstance because you're charging. That's not fair. You're about to charge, so I'm going to say you can charge back at this creature coming towards you. That seems reasonable to me, given that you're kind of in charging pose. So you're both on neutral to do this roll.
Okay, right.
Yeah, it probably beat you. It got 2 success levels.
Now then, talk to me about, is it the fortune thing? What's how can you reroll? What was
so you can roll? You can fortune just lets you do a reroll. I think it's fortune that way, isn't it? Yeah. And then there's resilience, which lets you redo damage that not take wounds. That's what it is.
Okay.
You can also use fortune to add 1 success level to a combat roll.
Yeah, thanks. If people check rules, and that's great, because I'm not going to remember everything myself.
Well, I'm going to spend a fortune point and re-roll what I just rolled. That's much better. I rolled 80 something before. This time I rolled 11.
Okay. How many success levels does that give you?
Well, my target is 55, so 4, I guess.
Nice. So it only rolled 2, so you don't get a hit on it for that, but you do succeed at backing it off. No one's getting any double rolls.
Which means that you gain advantage.
I got 11.
You
11.
Get
I rolled
advantage.
11.
Oh, you did? Oh, nice. Wait, does this work for the opposed? If you're the defender, do you get the critical? I don't think you can get a critical hit if you're a defender because you're not doing damage. Any successful melee or ranged test that rolls a double. So you're doing the opposed, so you're not doing the test. Your opponent receives an immediate critical. Yeah, you're not doing damage to them, so that doesn't make sense. You've just blocked really well.
Okay.
Critically defended, my lord.
Yeah, critically defended. I believe that's right. If people can correct me if I'm wrong in the double on a defense, but I don't think that gives you the...
What a stunning defense, my lord!
If we're getting any stuff in chat that says we're doing everything horribly wrong, you can vaguely tell me politely, but don't. Yeah. Or just congratulations. That would be nice too. If people are like, "Yeah, you're doing great job, sir."
Get more congratulations, please, in the chat.
Yeah, exactly. So Ungor 5 is at a -1.
And I get an advantage level for making that. Cool. Lovely.
You do.
That's good.
And now it is Okri. Okri, are you charging?
Yes.
Are you charging? So an Ungor has just charged into Kruger, who's kind of charged back at them and bulled into them to stop them hitting. There is one that's currently in the process of stabbing the poor woman on the ground, and Elsa has a few on her.
So the one that Henrik kind of knocked down, is that up again now? It's not still sort of kneeling.
I think at this point it's kind of getting itself up. It never got the prone condition, if that's what you're wondering. So it doesn't actually have a technical debuff in the game in game terms.
Yeah, not from a technical perspective. I just thought if that's sort of between Okri and the rest of them almost,
Yeah.
which I felt it may be, then what I thought Okri would try and do is essentially sort of run in and sort of hammer, like run by hammer.
Oh, nice.
That
sounds
one.
great. Go for it. Go for it.
While heading
Makes-
towards the main group of them.
Makes sense to take the one out while it's stunned as well for a moment. Not literally stunned. That's also a condition in this game. You have to be careful with everything.
Metaphorically stunned.
Metaphorically stunned. So +1 for your charge, -1 because it's mucky and horrible in the dark. So a neutral. You get a -1 from your weapon, correct?
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, so my weapon just I chose to I basically get provided a dagger as my standard gear, but I negotiated with Sam to have a hammer that Okri had made himself, which is the first thing that he made himself. So it's slightly more powerful, but also imprecise, which means I get a -1 success level to hit when I go to do an attack.
Yeah. So I love the idea that it's just really heavy and bulbous, and the metal's kind of an awkward. It's like a little too large for the weight it is, or something like that.
It's like it was designed for a human.
Oh, what I do have though is Resolute, which is add your level of Resolute to your strength bonus when you charge, and I've got a level of 1.
Very nice. Very nice. So this is just a flat,
Okay.
other than your bonuses.
So
See how many success levels they get.
I have a melee basic of 48.
Mhm.
And I have rolled 48, and I have lost track of what the pluses and minuses are.
That's
So-
fine. So you're neutral from my side, but you also had a bonus from your side, I think, from your charge, correct? Because you had a
But then I have a -1
minus from your weapon.
So I think I'm precisely on.
Precisely 1. That counts as a success from a neutral.
Does it? If I roll the thing, it's 1 success.
Yeah. You have succeeded technically if you get on the number. Okay.
Just as planned.
Yeah, just as planned.
Yes.
Okri does everything exactly precisely. No better nor worse than they need to be.
Well, unfortunately, the Ungor rolled 2 successes, so they do stop you succeeding in your attack.
Okay.
I think what happens is you're about to kind of smack them right across the jaw, and then the Ungor just raises their spear and just kind of pushes your hammer away, and you kind of go off a bit balanced, so you gain minus advantage.
Do they get advantage? Or?
Yeah, they're now on -1. Oh, they're -2 advantage. They get no successes. I forgot about their advantage because of the 2 shots they've taken. So that's factoring in their off balance. So you do succeed.
Oh, okay. Great.
So
You actually
basically, it's like struck against it, and then.
So this is where I like these mechanics, because I'm forgetting some things, but I like the idea that even though they haven't got a condition, the battle is going badly for them. They've been hit twice with stones, and they're kind of like, overbalanced a bit, if you see what I mean. So they've kind of, even though they would have been able to block that, maybe they kind of tried half-heartedly, but they were still a bit overbalanced and struggling with their kind of elbow. So it didn't
Fought
work.
through it, basically.
Exactly, yeah. So you've pushed through it and still whacked them across the face. So you get your damage bonus plus your strength, your weapon bonus plus your strength bonus against their toughness and armor, I believe.
Yeah, so my damage is plus strength bonus plus 4. My strength bonus is 4.
So 8, very nice. And you don't get any. Sure, they get disadvantages. Yeah, you get disadvantages for having minus advantage. I'm certain of that, if that's what you're asking. Or minus success levels, that's what that means. And they have toughness 3 and armor. Oh, what did you roll? We need to decide where you hit.
Oh, so it's an 84, so it's left leg.
So 48 it switches to. Oh,
No,
84,
sorry, I rolled
switched to-
48, so it's, yeah.
Yeah, left leg. Okay, cool. Well, you managed to whack the left leg in such a way that you feel the whole hip kind of just come out of where it should be. You were going at it with some force at that charge, and the Ungor squeals high-pitched and collapses on its face and is immediately unconscious and probably not getting up again. Okay. Kruger. Come on, soldier man.
All right. Well, Kruger will let out a guttural yell and yes, slash at this this one that's engaged him.
Yeah. So this is one of the ones that has a -1 advantage, and you have a +1. Do you now? Yes, you do.
I
don't you?
do. Yes.
Cool. Okay, so that's factored in. So that'll give you. You're not gaining your charge, so that gives you a flat because it's mucky and horrible. But
Yeah.
you get your advantage, and it's at a -2.
Okay. So I'm rolling against 55. I got 45, so that is a success level of 1.
Okay, and it got success level -4, so you definitely beat it.
Hooray.
What was your roll? Sorry.
45, so that
Okay.
reverses to 54.
Yep. So 1 hit location 54 and 1 success level.
And my strength bonus is 3, and weapon damage is success level plus strength bonus plus 4, which is going to be 8.
Very nice. So that's going to be 8. Sorry, what body location did we say? Did we decide?
54, whatever that is.
Okay. Has anyone got that open right now? Oh, there we go.
Body.
Body.
So yeah, it's got 1 armor, so that takes 4 damage straight to the chest. So you slash across. You don't really dig in with it, but you kind of end up pummeling. I think in this moment you've kind of battered into the Ungor, and you don't manage to get a full cut, but you end up kind of battering with your kind of, maybe you don't have a hard gauntlet, but certainly your fist, and then drawing the blade across them kind of fairly superficially, but they're certainly winded and knocked back by it. It definitely did them some damage. So that one is -4. And it gets minus another advantage as well. And you get plus another advantage there, Kruger. It's painful having 2 numbers on them. So I've got the top one is the advantage and the bottom one is the health. And don't mix those up. Okay, and the family.
No,
Cool.
I'll wait until the order has ended.
That's fine. That's fine. So the man is kind of scrambling slightly to his feet. He doesn't seem to have noticed what's happened to the younger woman with him. The other, now you're closer to them, you can see even younger. She seems like a girl, actually, maybe a teenager, is kind of yelling and screaming and trying to drag the woman to her feet. And that is what's happening. Yes, that's got reduced to 4 with 1 armor and 3 toughness bonus. The toughness bonus is something that reduces damage to everyone that's taken. Elsa just got a ridiculous amount of strength bonus as well as her other bonuses. That's why she did so much damage over the toughness. She got a lot of successes too. I think I've included toughness bonus every time. So your toughness bonus will reduce all the damage you take by that much as well as your armor. So it's actually, you can be quite tanky. Toughness bonus is real good. Anyway, so now we're back round to Elsa.
Can I ask a question about the advantages? Because
Yeah.
I can see, okay, I see the bit where it says add advantages, and there are conditions to, it's like sometimes you lose advantages, but it's not, I don't see a thing for negative
I don't
advantages.
think you
Negative
can go
advantage.
negative. I think you can just go to 0.
Yeah. It's like if you lose an opposed, then you lose all of the advantages you have, but you don't have.
Yeah. But we can come
Got
back. We
Got
can
it.
circle
No,
around.
that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I'll tell you what.
We can't retcon anything. That would be bad. But moving forward,
Let's from this point on, I'm not going to add any more negative advantage, but I'm going to keep them where they are because it would be weird to change what I've done to them so far. But no more negative advantage. That makes
the
sense.
GM's decided. There you go.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
Other than
Ultimately, if you want to throw the rulebook out the window, you can just tell me to shut up.
To be honest,
and I'll
everyone
quiet.
says the advantage system is already broken, so adding a negative and positive to it is probably way too much. It does plus
That's what I
2
was thinking.
differentials. That's ridiculous. I think I just kind of got carried away with all of the rules and forgot that there was no minus as well, because you lose 1 when you're losing if you already have them, but obviously they can't go below 0.
I think basically if you lose any test, you go straight back to 0. So you lose all of your advantage. So it builds up and then drops really quick.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, cool. Thanks for the note. I will do that from now on. Anyway, Elsa with her +3 advantage. I think she can get up to +4 because she's got 45 initiative, doesn't she? Yeah. So she is going to swing towards the nearest Ungor. She's going to swing straight towards the Ungor that stabbed the woman on the ground, in fact. And she is going to roll pretty poorly. She doesn't get a charge. That's -1 + 3. So +2, her bonus is 55. Nope, not quite good enough. So she does not succeed. I think she's still a bit off balance from the swing she took a moment ago, and she slips a bit in the muck and just ends up basically engaged with the Ungor, but the Ungor manages to kind of fend off her strike towards it. It kind of just deflects it downwards, if you see what I mean. So she goes down to +2 advantage because she didn't succeed at that strike. And the Ungor goes up +1 because it did succeed at blocking. Yes, that does happen. Okay, so that Ungor's on +2 now. It's doing well, that Ungor. Okay, Henrik.
Is the Ungor that I've been beating on still around?
You
Is it
just saw
unengaged?
Okri smash it a lot onto the ground, and it's very smashed. It's being hit quite hard by a hammer and isn't moving anymore.
If Okri is in, then I'm definitely not going to try and hit it if it's not moving.
You don't.
Are there any Ungors that aren't engaged with anyone?
I think so. Let's see. That one is currently being managed by Elsa. Just did stabby stabs. That one has charged at. Yes, there's one that is not. That's kind of hanging behind the one that's Elsa's now fighting.
Then I am going to load up a rock and let loose at that one.
Okay, cool. Go ahead. I don't need to roll for you, do it. So that's going to be a. You haven't moved.
3 advantages?
I was going to say no because you're not shooting at the group anymore because one of them's down. It's only a +10 advantage for this.
I was going to say +3 because I'm on +3 advantage.
Oh yeah, that.
Okay.
Nice load of advantage. You can't have any more advantage than this, by the way. This is your capped.
Got it. So
your initiative bonus. No, wait, your initiative bonus was 40 something, was it? It's 4, is it? Your initiative bonus.
My initiative bonus is 42.
So you get 4. That's your cap for your advantage.
Cool.
So you can get 1 more. Sorry.
So
roll.
3 plus 10 minus, was it 20 for it being dark or something?
Just the -10 for dark.
Minus 10. So a 30 base, so a target of 70.
That sounds right.
Oh no! I rolled 83. I am going to spend
fortune.
Fortune.
No, not fate.
I'm going to spend fortune to reroll.
I mean, who am I to tell you what to do? You can spend a fate if you want to, but it's
Nope. And I roll a 40. So that is 3 levels of success plus 6, so 9 damage.
Very nice. Very nice. And that goes 0-4. So I believe that hits the head, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yes. It does. Excellent. So, see, I thought there'd be some sort of double damage thing with the head, but I don't know if there is. Anyway, I'm not going to look that up now because it's too much effort. That one is that one there, and that is -4. So that was 8 damage in total, you said?
I've just forgotten 9.
9 damage, sorry. So that's that one there is going to now be 5. Very nice. So you clock it like straight across the head. It doesn't like collapse its skull or anything, but it bounces right off and it makes a really like cool like clonking sound. And you see the Ungor go like backwards like that, and it goes and kind of it's almost amusing in this very dark and brutal moment. But the Ungor's still kind of running behind the group. But it's kind of staggered to one side as it's done so. And that is now at a -2 as well. Okay, Boniface, what are you doing?
Is Kruger being attacked by a single Ungor?
A single Ungor, indeed.
Then I'm not worried about that. Then I will. Kruger's a brave warrior. He will be.
It might be besmirching his honor, to go and.
No,
It's only an Ungor.
He wouldn't really get in the way.
He wouldn't want me to take some of the glory. So I'll help out one of these poor miscreants. Let's go with so Okri's fighting one, isn't he?
Okri just smushed one on the ground. The only people currently engaged are Kruger and Elsa. There's one that's just been clocked on the head that's not fighting anyone.
Right. Well, then I'll just run at the nearest one. You can decide whichever one that one is.
The nearest one's probably Kruger's one, so presumably any of the others.
Elsa's one, then.
Elsa's
That's
one,
fine.
got it. Okay,
That's fine. And I'm going to stab it with my knife.
I mean,
Got
you
it.
know, you could loot the body of the family member. That seems to be up your.
There's time for that afterwards.
Oh no! So because you're doing a 2-on-1, you get a plus 20. Oh god, there's so many different.
I better do.
I think it's a plus 20 for that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So roll plus 20. You got a charge as well, so plus 30 minus 10, so plus 20 bonus for you in total.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I miss.
Do you want to use
Well,
fortune?
it's competitive, but I mean, the Ungor got 0 successes with its minus.
I rolled a 71, and I have like 36 in melee, so
Okay, yeah.
I don't see it.
Yeah, you
32
got like a
melee.
-2. Yeah.
That's, yeah.
Okay, so you do not succeed. You didn't roll a double, did you?
No.
Okay, you're fine. No one's rolled doubles yet. Oh, I can't believe it. I haven't had any crits or fumbles. So yeah, you charge in with your knife, and maybe you kind of you haven't really fought very much before with a knife. Certainly not in a combat with beasts and stuff. But you just kind of almost don't know what to do. Like Boniface kind of gets in there, is about to kind of get in a fight, and then is just kind of standing there ready with the knife as the Ungor and Elsa are engaged in combat, like ready to stab, but kind of not really doing it at the last moment, if you see what I mean.
Well, has Boniface ever seen an Ungor before?
No. Let's go
Has
with no.
Boniface been in a fight before?
Yeah, probably. A fight.
To be fair, you might be the only person here who's seen Ungors before, other than the village people. I'm not sure any of the other 3 will have actually. It's a good job that I know I showed the image of them before. They're more or less human looking, just a little odd with maybe you haven't really had a chance to have a really good look at the strange cloven hooves or the small horns on the head or the slightly kind of devilish, strange, hairy look that they have. So perhaps the horror of their oddness hasn't become apparent to the other characters just yet. Although you've heard tales, all of you, and you're from a world of many dark things, so they're not particularly distressing to you. Perhaps.
Anyway, I miss.
Yeah, you missed. You missed. It's all good. Okay, the Ungor doesn't even notice you're there yet. So there are 3 Ungors remaining in combat. The one that stabbed the woman is going to get back up, and I think I know what's going to happen. I think the young girl is going to try to effectively engage it. So they're going to do a post-combat roll, and the Ungor rolled ridiculously highly. So actually, I think the girl's going to win this, but I'm going to roll for her as well as a defense. And she rolls really well. Yeah, that's 9, 8. Yeah, there's enough. She succeeded at that. I mean, I had to give her a success, doesn't it? So she's got +1 and it got a -1. Down to +1. It's not actually going minus. Success. So she managed to fend off that Ungor. And Onkri. Oh wait, no, other Ungors. That's just one of them. I should do the others too, shouldn't I? There's the one facing you, Kruger. So let's roll with that one. So it's going to try and whack you with the butt of its spear because you're kind of right close up in its face at this point, so it can't really get a good stab on you. And it rolled. It's got a -2, so that is going to be -3 success levels in total. So you want to oppose that?
Okay, yeah.
Remember your advantage.
I rolled a 51. This is dark, but I have a +2.
So you're -1 in total. No, +1 in total. Sorry.
+1 in total, yes. So I needed to roll 65. I rolled 51. Success level of 1.
Yep, you roll success level 1, but no doubles again, so we don't do anything with that. So it's a feeble attempt. It's already kind of up to you, and it clearly doesn't know what to do when something's up in its face. And you're probably actually a bit larger than this Ungor is. They're not particularly intimidating creatures. Now you're probably kind of closer than anyone else has come at this point. It stinks, like it smells of just a horrible disease and corruption and just awfulness. You really rather not be this close, but combat necessitates what it does. And you just want to get rid of this thing as fast as you can. But it doesn't manage to do you any harm. You kind of easily fend off the feeble blow. Okri, what do you want to do?
Okri was heading directly towards the one that's attacking the girl. After having sort of upswung the other one. That's where he was going. And honestly, sorry to add in more combat rules, but I think he's going to basically go to tackle this one that's attacking her rather than
all good.
swinging.
Perfectly.
So I don't know what that means, and I've just dropped my dice.
I think I'm gonna
Chaos reigns.
I'm gonna do that as
I'll get
a.
another dice.
That's okay. I'm gonna do that as an opposed. Still do it as opposed roll, but you're gonna get a positive because it's already kind of engaged with the girl, and I'm gonna let you use like. I'll give you another +10 because you can charge in there as well. So your advantage +10 -10. So your advantage neutral for this check, and your check is going to be against. Is there a grappling skill?
There is grappling.
Yeah.
And you must declare your intent before you roll, blah, blah, blah. Opposed test.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a strength test.
Okay. I don't think the Ungors have particularly good strength. Yeah, they don't have particularly good strength, so I'll do a roll for that. It's also going to get minus, so you've probably got a pretty good chance of this one. Yeah.
I mean,
wow.
Okri doesn't have great strength either, but I'll.
You probably beat it since it got like -1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It got -7.
Nice.
I rolled a 10, and Okri has strength of 40.
That's
If
pretty
you
good
win,
strength.
you may do one of the following. You can deal damage, which is equal to your strength bonus plus your success level. You ignore armor. Or you can give your opponent the entangled condition.
You got +5 success levels, so that damage bonus is pretty good.
I'm gonna do damage. I'm just going for a straight
Choke
sort of
him out.
rugby tackle to the floor.
Okay, so that is.
Wrestling.
I know we have rules. I think the armor's not going to count in this because you're like trying to basically strangle the damn thing.
It says, I think, doesn't it, that it's not.
Oh, it does. Makes sense to me anyway. So it's just going to get toughness bonus. So that's -3 to the total damage. It's just plus bonus, right?
Strength that bonus plus success level damage.
Oh, plus strength bonus. What's your strength bonus? 4. So
4.
That's like 11 damage from that. That's 7. Damn.
It says as you you wrench arms and pull muscles. You just tear this guy apart, literally.
You dead on the amount of damage you needed as well. So you literally batter into him at such a rate, this Ungor, whatever it is, that it's just immediately knocked unconscious by the force of the impact of which you hit the thing. And it collapses to the floor. It's not dead, it's still breathing, but it's just cold.
What's Okri's finishing move?
Hammer of Justice.
Right, nice.
Is that basically just like a tombstone pile driver?
I love it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I love it.
And then I think basically Okri's going to be sort of scrabbling in the mud to try and pick his hammer up because I imagine that's kind of gone flying at least a couple of feet away with the impact of the.
Perfect. And I think also at this point, one of the Ungor, I did actually forget to roll one Ungor's combat, but it seems fair to me at this point that things are going on around and they're very not happy with the circumstance, so they're going to turn and try to run away.
I'm sure it won't come up again, but do I now gain an advantage because I won a contest?
Yes.
Is that? Yeah.
And Kruger, the one that is in front of you, is a little bit away from the rest of the group, so hasn't immediately fled. It's the one that was fighting Elsa that's turned to run.
Well, I'll get another attack in if I can. So I believe I'm now at +3 because of the last defense I made.
That sounds right. Your initiative bonus isn't 30 something, right?
Oh no, my initiative is only 24, so
only
I guess it caps at 2. Damn it!
So +2, the -1 for the
So it's just
dark
+1.
and mucky.
Yeah. So I'm rolling under 65,
and it's got -3.
and I roll a 51. So success level 1.
Okay, and it got success level -2. So yeah, you succeed. And nope, still no doubles. So 16 for hit location.
15 for hit.
Sorry, 15.
Hit location. Which is going to be the same.
Yeah, it's going to be the same here. Yeah. So yeah, that's left arm you managed to get.
And it's going to be 8 points of damage.
Thank you. So that is left arm has 1 armor. 4. Okay, so you kind of, again, you're close up and you don't manage to get a really good strike, but you manage to like whack into the arm of this Ungor, and the spear kind of almost leaves its grip, and you hear something like crack as you do so. and you see blood too, like that dark, horrible, like ichor of a blood that comes out of the thing. It's backed off a bit now, and it's looking like it was looking furious when it first fought you, and now it's immediately just looking exhausted and almost frightened of you. But it's not dead. And the family, I think the old man has started to climb to his feet, maybe having noticed what's happened. He's kind of just staggering, half crawling to the kind of temple before turning around and seeing what's happened, and then running back to the family. The girl is on her knees now next to the now dead woman. Yeah, that's what they're doing. I think we can take off initiative now, because there's those two Ungors left who have now were chasing Rinda, have turned back to see the rest of their fellows slaughtered, and decide they'll go off and do something else in this village. They don't really feel like fighting you very much. And Rinda comes trotting back towards you, looking quite happy with himself. Elsa, for her part, while the combat's still kind of ongoing, manages to pick up one of the spears that was lying on the ground nearby from one of the Ungors and throw it at the passing Ungor and the fleeing Ungor. I'm going to roll for her, and she rolls super well. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's enough, and she gets it right in the back. It's like right between the shoulder blades, and it collapses, dead on the ground.
NPCs showing off.
She
sure
screams as she does
NPCs?
that.
We could be
Pretty
the
sure
NPCs.
the NPCs.
Yeah.
I had to give her quite good stats, because you guys are really base level in this, and I was worried.
Charming.
It's true though. 100% true.
To be fair, you did pretty well in the combat though.
We were
No one
gonna
took any
die.
wounds, did they? So you did all right so far. Yeah, first combat. That was all right. That wasn't too difficult. Nice job. Oh, it is like 20+9. Jesus, that did take a
They always take longer than you expect.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as Deadlands. Let's put it that way.
So Elsa is like basically screaming at the Ungor as she's thrown the thing. What is everyone else immediately doing? There's still like chaos around you. You still get the impression of imminent danger in the village, and the bell is still ringing.
Did they have any weapons on them that would be more useful than my butter knife?
The Ungors, yes. Although as you look at them, they look dirty and unpleasant and kind of like
All right,
not
just
nice.
stick with my butter knife then.
Do you only have a butter knife?
I've got a knife. No. What have I got? I've got a something. Something absolutely rubbish.
like a dagger.
Yeah, dagger. I have a dagger. Its value is valueless, in my opinion.
I think Henrik's the same with only a dagger, right?
I know, and I was
That's
hoping
lame.
that maybe we could steal something in this situation.
Do you want to rifle
Yeah.
through the disgusting, stinking, disease-ridden beastmen corpses on the ground? You can do. I will not stop.
You're talking to Boniface.
I could do it.
It's up to you.
No, I rolled a dice. Boniface decides no on the
Okay.
on balance.
That's fine. Go on.
I will kneel down, give Rinda a good, well done scratch, and say, "Well, now what?"
Oh,
The
cool.
temple.
Talking to your dog.
I was talking to you.
Okay, it sounded like you were talking to the dog.
I was saying, "Well done" to the dog.
Right. Okay. Well,
Rinda?
Kruger will be.
Go on. I'm joking.
You're talking to the dog, but looking at us. Kruger will be sort of, still breathing heavily, looking around. He hasn't had time to put his hat on, so his hair is sort of long and wild. So he's still looking around in the darkness, trying to see if there are any other threats, sort of inbound.
Just the time
Okay.
for Boniface to
I
grab his
think-
hat.
I
They
love
have a
the no, that's fair. I think it's fair that you find Kruger's hat on the ground. We can do that. Kruger, you look around. It doesn't seem like any of the other creatures is charging you. You can see some in the houses trying to light fires and pillage and destroy things, but it seems like they may be giving you a bit of a perhaps they wouldn't attack you without more numbers or more strength at this point, or perhaps they're waiting for something else to happen. Certainly, you don't really feel like standing and staying in the middle of the street to wait to see what will happen, though. You don't feel particularly comfortable and safe in this position as a soldier.
Sure. Well, I'll look to Elsa and see what.
Sure. Yeah. So
If she's
Elsa's
not
Elsa's turned around now after having thrown that spear and seen the rest of you. And come to the temple. We should protect who we can there. Decide what to do from then. And she's going straight to the temple.
How's what's the family doing? Are we helping them in?
Yeah. She kind of starts marching on, but as you realize at the same time that she does that the family is kind of lingering at the dead woman on the ground, and she hefts the younger girl up and says, "Come, there's nothing more we can do. I'm sorry," and helps her to half drags her away. The older man is not immediately moving.
Well, I think I'll go over to. Can I? I guess I'd want to go over to him and sort of make my presence known, and then maybe try and carry the body of the one woman back to the temple.
Sure, that sounds very
if you'll let
reasonable.
me.
Yeah, rather than trying to heft him up, you're going to try and lift the body so that he'll come with you, presumably. Makes sense. Give me a strength check, average, so plus 20. She wasn't particularly
Strength.
high.
Okay. What is my strength? Okay. Strength.
It's still quite a difficult thing to do, just lift up the person on the ground.
Well, you say that. I rolled a 1.
Okay. Not only do you lift her without a single problem, but you actually manage to kind of give off an air of not quite calm, because that doesn't seem quite the right thing. Yeah, dignity. That's exactly the right word. Like dignity and honor about it. You want to. She should return to the temple where she's meant to lay to rest, and kind of a moment of almost peace comes over the group as you kind of carry her body through this mucky street in the rain. The blood kind of washing from her clothes and yours in the rain. You kind of walk there. Not slowly, but you're not kind of dashing in either. And the militia part as you march through is probably added to you by your kind of noble bearing, and it's almost quite a poignant moment. I think Boniface, you're quite like, ooh, my lord, actually.
My lord has got such a graceful way of approaching.
And yes, you come into Warlen Temple, and I will share a picture of the temple in one moment.
As you crit fail, that would have been
well. Crit success is the one to do. Yeah. Now it's gonna close my thing when I try and do this.
Did anyone see if my rock hit anyone?
Cool. So here we have Warlen Temple. You can all see that just about read the text and everything, can you?
Yep.
Yeah, it looks fine.
Excellent. So that's what you see from the temple in the front. Temples in this world are rather different to temples now. The particular temples of Sigmar are more like fortresses. In a village like this is the safe place where people would go in the case of something like this. It's the only stone building in the town. Large, forbidding. The windows are kind of barred over. It's a great oak door. Certainly from your perspective, Kruger, this is exactly the sort of place you would want to be in something like this. Probably everyone would think that, to be fair. And yes, you're ushered through those doors briskly with the twin-tailed comet emblazoned on the front. And the last of the militia come in behind you and bar the door. And you are momentarily safe and secure within. Kruger, what are you doing with her body? As you come in, you see lots of villagers crouching here. Some look wounded. Everyone looks panicked. They're all gazing at you, given you've kind of drawn the attention in this moment.
Well, I will look for a sort of an open space or some sort of bench or table or something where I can gently rest.
Sure.
The woman.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Sounds good. Okay. You find just one of the kind of pews nearby you can lay her down on, and the girl and the older man both crouch down weeping, but he kind of puts a hand on your hand after you put her down slightly and goes, "Thank you," and then just crouches down next to her in sorrow. And Elsa turns to you as the group says, "And thank you for your help. well, not your responsibility. It's mine to take care of these people here, but we appreciate it. We all do. Dark times. And then she immediately wanders off to go and see who's wounded and if they need anything before even waiting for a response.
Well, I guess I'll look around at the others and just check that everyone is well and uninjured.
Yeah, I think we all are. So
Mm-hmm.
As you, sorry, we can say something, Johnny.
It's a good, strong stone building, but what's the plan? Do they plan to just stay here and hope they go away?
That's a good question. Hopefully Elsa will yes, we'll have some sort of plan. Otherwise, I guess we wait till the morning. Would I know, Sam, whether Ungor specifically do they attack both day and night, or are they nocturnal? Do they have any particular weaknesses?
I wouldn't say nocturnal specifically, but they're certainly the sort of creatures who would be inclined to be out in the night. They're actually, beastmen in general, particularly Ungors, are quite inclined to be they could be scattered by armed forces. They're not really the sort to confront. They would never confront a city without something else driving them to do it. Perhaps if there was a huge chaos host, they would be with them, but they would never do it of their own accord.
Okay, right.
Not of a city. A village like this, perhaps. This is not an intimidating settlement. So yes, you could certainly make them run with a show of force. Weaknesses otherwise? Yes, other than that, I can't really think of anything specifically. Certainly, they're very intimidated by magic and even more so, true faith. So, if there was any expression of the might of Sigmar or another imperial god or another god of any sort, I suppose, they would scatter to the winds. But that would be certainly an exceptional feat.
What are they?
Well, they are beastmen. I've seen their like before in the forest of Drakwold, but I didn't expect to see them here.
Indeed, they're not common at all in the Reichland, so your judgment about that was correct. Perhaps Kruger would want to warn that there are other types of beastmen too. You probably know, you've seen and encountered and perhaps even killed the odd Ungor, the weakest of them, but you've perhaps seen at a distance and known of others to kill Gors or even Bestigors, the much larger, more intimidating sorts. And you've heard tell of larger and scarier beasts in passing and in old tales, but you hope that they're not true.
Yes, they are the weakest of their type. We were lucky. Yes, we were lucky. They had none of their brethren with them, I think. But as to why they're here now, that is a disturbing question.
Go on, Justin.
Can I? Boniface no longer interested in hearing about the things that want to kill him. And is it possible to slip away and maybe try and sneak into this bell tower to see if I can get a better view of what's going on outside of Wallen?
It's a good call.
Absolutely, you don't have to sneak into it at all. As you go to the bell tower, you see kind of a large, worried-looking, rather rotund, fat man come down from the bell tower. Presumably, he was the one who was ringing the bell. He looks very concerned, and he kind of gives you a funny look when he realizes he doesn't recognize you, but he's not stopping going up to the tower. So unless you say anything else, you can go.
No, I think with my kind of like beneath notice trait, unless they are of lower status, I just don't even register.
Yep.
No.
Perfectly fair. Actually, this guy might be silver. Actually, thinking about
anything
it.
over silver 1, and I think it's reasonable belief that if I don't want Kruger to notice that I'm there, I can just leave.
Yeah.
Because I'm beneath his notice.
So yes, you're up in the bell tower.
Yeah.
Go on.
I guess I'm not very observant anyway. So
Yeah. So I mean, I basically would spend until. Well, to be honest, for a long time, I think I just sit up there watching what's going on, unless there's like they move to attack the church or something.
Mhm.
But to get an idea about what's going on, if that's possible, I'm happy to roll perception if you'd like.
Absolutely. It's worth noting while you're passing as well, you see that in the office where you pass through in the lower section, you pass by and you see there's actually a fair amount of what look like good supplies here. There's food, there's some weapons, some swords and shields and things like that, and some spears, and some what look like some medical supplies or something like that you pass by. So you can't help but feel rather enthused by some of the things you see.
Cool.
But anyway, what were you rolling me a perception?
I am, bearing in mind that I have night vision and that I am taking my time. How many bonuses are you going to give me to this check? Because I'm going to need a few.
I mean, the night vision kind of only cancels out the negative.
It's true. It's true.
So, and it is pouring a rain too.
So imagining it was daytime and I was doing this.
I'll give you a +10 if you take a fair bit of time over it.
I'm taking plenty of time, and it's still not enough.
Okay. I mean, I'll tell you what. It's like I could do it as you could do another roll.
Yeah,
I mean, there for another like 5 minutes. I'll have another roll for other people.
Like, I'm not blind. I can see what's going on, but I don't get.
Yeah.
I mean, so in the description what's going on, but no real use.
You're perfectly right. You can see around the temple there are shapes moving, presumably like the creatures that are out there now. You don't think there's any more people out there. You see shapes over by the front, like looking like they're perhaps not like they're about to batter the door down, but they're certainly outside thinking about what to do. You can see others kind of around some of the buildings, looking like they're doing something to set fire to some of them. And yeah, you don't really see anything particularly distinct though, or like they're doing anything or gathering in any one place or something.
Yeah, Boniface is not a military strategist, and so makes sense for him to get a second role, or even think to ask questions like, are they gathering in places or whatever. I think is there a leader? None of those things are things that Boniface cares about. And so after this, like maybe 10 minutes of looking at that, comes back to the rest of the group. But I'm happy if the rest of the group might have to do other things in that time. So
cool. Yeah. Sounds good. So as I was saying earlier, there's kind of wounded people around on the floor in here. Father Stillman is tending to some of them, as well as Elsa's kind of looking at them, and other people you don't recognize. And there's quite a lot of villagers in this place. So I don't think anyone's really paying you any mind at this moment. So you've kind of got a moment to do as you will. You can either try and help out, or have a look around, or anything else you could think of.
I would like to gather information under the guise of helping out.
Okay.
So maybe try and lure people into conversations to, like, what were the signs that you were going to be attacked by beastmen? And not that.
Okay, cool. So that will be a gossip, I think. First of all, I want to see how well you could help, though, because I think that's fair too.
That's fair.
But you don't have any points in medicine. So what skill do we think might be at all relevant to just helping with something like that? Or is it just going to be like a dexterity roll or something? To like hold this, push there.
I don't suppose anyone's brought any animals in with them.
Let's say there's a goat, but that's it.
No,
none of those lovely chickens from.
The
Oh
chickens
my God, all
scattered.
the chickens are going to be slaughtered, aren't they?
now they're going to run for it. It'll be
Yeah,
fine.
the chickens will be gone.
I don't think those beastmen have the chicken herding skills of Boniface.
Let's go for, I say, stalling for time. Nope, I've got no idea. I'm at your mercy. What would you like me to roll?
Look for rats.
Just the
Look for rats.
dexterity. No, just the
That's
dexterity.
my next idea. Dexterity. So dexterity is 25.
Could offer everyone emotional support from your emotional support dog.
Small but vicious emotional support dog, I believe.
People like dogs.
A roll
Depends.
of 74.
Mm,
So that didn't work.
So
mm.
you don't help at all. You don't hinder. It's just you kind of try and offer your help to Father Stillman, and Father Stillman hands you a thing, and you don't know what the thing is, and Father Stillman doesn't say anything else to you, and then you're kind of just find yourself standing next to Father Stillman, not sure what's going on.
But is he engaged in conversation?
No, he's very intensely dealing with a kind of open belly wound that this old man has that looks very unpleasant while the old man is moaning and kind of making unhappy noises.
Do we get? Is it all of our fortune back at the end of this session?
It won't be this session now. No, at the end of the one shot, should probably be next.
Wait,
session.
what?
Oh! You didn't
Oh, I
say
said
that.
I did say every 2 sessions. You're right. I won't retcon that because that would be unfair.
That was a bit of a rug pull.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to spend a fortune and try and reroll it.
Yep.
Why? I've got such little chance of hitting it. Which I do as well. I get an 11.
There you go. See?
Do
Crit.
doubles
That's
do a
a crit.
thing in non-combat?
Crit.
Well,
No, I don't use the double crit in this system. I'm just using the 1 to 5. That's like twice as
that's a
much.
shame. Okay.
But you do succeed. So after a moment holding this kind of rag, Father Stillman makes a noise at you, and you realize that he wants you to help pack the wound and dress it, basically. So you hold the dressing tight as Father Stillman kind of wraps it up. And after a moment, he thanks you for your help, and then he mutters about the beasts. The beasts, they were supposed to be caught.
It's supposed to be caught by who? When?
Lord
What?
Hellsconnect. When he was here with his host, he was here to destroy the things, but clearly he failed. I don't understand. They're never this far into the Reichland.
So you don't know what's brought them here?
No. As I say, I've been in this village for near 5 decades now. Before 2 months ago, I'd never seen them in my life.
And what happened to Helsnicht?
He head north a few weeks ago. I think at the time we thought he had them on his trail. He was following the creatures, going to wipe them out once and for all.
Father, I'm going to ask you a very important question, and I need you to think very hard.
I think he's kind of wrapping this up, and he goes, one moment. And he kind of just ties off and kind of just basically tears the cloth with his teeth, and then looks at you kind of seriously, waiting for your question.
Have you noticed the rats acting strange in the last few months?
Father Stillman gives you kind of this expression. He just goes, no.
Are you sure?
I'm sure I haven't noticed it, yes.
All right.
There's others I should see to. Please excuse me.
Of course.
Get the impression some of that excusing is not just because there's others he should see to. Father Stillman goes to work on someone else who looks like they have perhaps a broken arm.
Okay, so it might be unrelated.
Across the room, there's a rat that just goes.
Across the room, you see a rat nodding at Father Stillman. Excellent. Okri, did you have any specific intentions?
Not really. I'm going to be... Are there any noises outside the temple that are sort of noticeable of continuing combat, or are any beastmen sort of hammering on any windows or anything?
Give me a perception roll. I think that's fair. There's no one currently battering the windows to get in. Although you're not sure if that's about to happen or not. Until you do this roll, then you might be.
No, I have 25 in perception. I rolled 59.
Okay, well, it was going to be an average, so it was going to be plus 20, but that's still not good enough, is it?
Still not good enough.
Okay.
The other thing that I would be looking out for is if I think that there are any. I know you've said it's kind of like a fortress, but just if I spot any areas that I think that could be a weak point for entry.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
I know
so
I've rolled badly, but that's what Okri's doing.
First of all, the other thing I want you to do then, are you kind of listening by the door or the windows, or are you like looking right out the windows? It's worth saying the windows have like bars over them, but they are kind of open otherwise, if you see what I mean.
I think I'm probably working my way around the main room, kind of scouting it all out and, getting a vibe of the whole thing.
Cool. In that case, I want you to make me a second perception check.
Okay.
This is going to be another average. So
that is 32, so that does pass.
You pass that one. Good. A moment before a javelin comes flying through the window at where your head was, you realize something's coming and dodge out of the way, and the javelin clatters against the wall nearby you, having kind of gone around the corner, and falls to the floor. Clearly, the beastmen are trying to keep an eye on what's going on in here.
Yeah, I'm going to shout an alarm.
What do you say?
Is there anything that we can board these with? I just nearly lost an eye.
I think Elsa turns around to you and goes, "Good plan. Perhaps nothing sacred," she says, looking around at the inside of the Temple of Sigmar, thinking, "Let's not tear the place apart." I'll go to the back.
Get everything sacred.
And she runs to the back of the temple, in the direction that Boniface headed earlier, that no one really noticed.
I'll probably follow her, I guess. If I think she's going to collect stuff to bring, I'll follow her.
Sounds good. And from your perspective,
and I'll shout, "Stay away from the windows" as I head over as well.
Yeah, sounds good. By the way, it's worth noting that Rorak and that dwarf woman are also here, just as a note of other characters we recognise. Doesn't seem like you haven't seen the woman who was running the bar, though, sadly. So wherever she is, you hope she's safe. Kruger, what were you think you're doing?
Well, I think having seen Okri's near miss, I would probably join in with the rushing to find stuff to board the windows up with. Yeah. Failing that, I would have been looking for, asking Elsa about maybe, should we be lighting a signal fire, or are there, if there are bows and arrows in here, can we, is there anything we can man to sort of to try and drive them away? But yes, the most critical problem, urgent priority seems to be, blocking up the windows. So I will help with that in any way I can.
Absolutely. And while you're in the back, both Okri and Kruger, you both see that store area. You see that there are, I think I'm going to say there are 2 bows with clutches of arrows. There's a spear, a shield, a few swords, and other kind of simple things like helmets, as well as some food. And as you spend a moment looking, you also see some what looks like poultices and other kind of bandages and medical equipment back there too. Whatever's happening here, it seems like people maybe thought that there was something dangerous around that could happen, if you see what I mean, and they were preparing and stockpiling a little in the safest place they knew. Cool. So it's up to you whether you want to just grab that or ask about that or ignore that for now. I don't mind.
I won't grab anything just
ignore
yet.
It for now.
Yeah.
Ignore it for now.
Make a note to ask Elsa if I can. Yes, if we're about to sort of start attacking things again, maybe grab a helmet or something.
Okay, but not right now. Nothing with it at the moment. You're just grabbing the boards to try and. It's up to you,
Sam.
No,
not right now. Not right now.
Okay, that's fine. I'm not trying to hint at anything. I'm just trying to figure out what you're doing.
It just sounds like you are, though.
I would.
Just get clarification. Are you doing it right now?
Okri would notice in passing, but also, be aware that there are probably kids in here that might run over towards a window, or anything could happen. So I'm going at pace to try and sort
Absolutely.
these massive gaping holes in the building.
Just as
those
Elsa is,
covered.
yeah. Elsa's doing the same thing. She's not thinking about anything else. She doesn't even pick up the medical supplies for other folks in there. At this point, the most important thing, as you say.
I'm
Boniface.
sure Ulrich's temples are more secure.
I mean, this is it's a large temple to Sigmar, but it's not exactly a fortress. It's still a small village temple in the scheme of things.
I imagine Ulrich's temples being a lot spikier.
Yeah, I think Ulrich's temples are more about offense, whereas Sigmar's temples are perhaps more about defense. So the similar perhaps otherwise. Boniface, back up in your tower. You've heard some commotion downstairs. Okri was yelling something you didn't quite catch, but nothing else.
Yeah.
Are you still kind of keeping an eye out?
Yes, I'm resisting the urges. I have to go to sleep because I'm tired and I'm keeping an eye out.
Cool. Okay, give me another perception roll then. You've been here a while now, so I'm going to give you a plus 30.
Okay, I rolled. So at plus 30, I got 2 success levels.
Two
So
successes.
I got 10 less than, or 10. Or, the difference was 10.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I'll give you 2 things for your 2 success levels then. Firstly, you see the beastmen are kind of gathering in a bit more. They're perhaps moving away from the temple a little bit towards kind of grouping up a bit, not far away. They're grouping up a bit further down the track, perhaps towards the.
Is it, okay.
Not
Near any
not far.
particular buildings or anything?
Let's say a little bit further up the street in the direction you kind of arrived in, kind of towards the Crooked Crook, but also a little bit back out of town, but only like 50, 100 yards away.
And anything else?
The second thing you notice is as they're kind of gathering, you see from the kind of dark group of shapes, you see what looks like a larger shape, a noticeably larger shape moving through the crowd, and they're parting for it, and it's moving in this direction.
Okay, that's good enough. That's information I can bring back. That's the kind of hard facts that Kruger will reward.
There's a big one.
Yeah. I mean, sorry, what is your reconnaissance cannon, Kruger? Apart from we've got don't stand in the windows, they might throw something at you. Like this is the intelligence we're working with.
No, I love it.
Of course, Boniface would never talk to Kruger like that.
I hope not.
But he will set off with his usual chaotic speed down the staircase towards Kruger.
No, I'm not going to make him roll this time. It's fine.
Right. Are we going up the staircase though? Is that
No,
no?
your store stuff's below the stairs. So I
Okay,
think you
cool.
probably meet Kruger and Okri just gathering up these supplies. But first of all, Henrik, what were you doing before that happens?
I think I want to have a look in the basement. If it's obvious to me that there is a basement, I only know there is because I saw the map.
Yeah,
Right.
that's perfectly reasonable. Where does that basement connect to? Oh, it's also from the office. So you haven't been back there, I don't think yet, have you? So unless you follow the others, if you did follow the others, then you can go to the basement. That's fine.
I've
It's in the,
been
like, back
following
bit,
the father, so it depends on where. he
Father
went.
Stillman is still attending to people's wounds, so I'm presuming you're continuing to help him for now.
I think he wandered away from me, and I sort of
Did.
got the feeling that he was done with my help. So I will, lack of anything else to do, try and find the group.
Okay, so you join Kruger and Okri as they're kind of gathering up supplies, and Boniface, you come down the stairs.
I relay everything in a completely jumbled, haphazard fashion.
Come on, what do you say? We've got to hear it.
Oh, sir! Oh, they're gathering, sir. They're down the street, sir. There's a big one. He's this. Then there's 100 of them. They're all outside. There's this big one, and they're all looking at him like that. That's what I do.
I guess. Well, yeah. I'll stare at you for a bit, and I guess turn to Elsa. And
Elsa gives you a dark look in response to a big one, presumably.
Eyes so dark, sir. So dark, like the very coals of hell themselves, sir.
Yes, very good, Boniface. Can you Make
I
yourself
saw him.
useful.
He caught my eyes.
The father says they've been in the area for a few months.
Deep into my soul, sir.
That seems unusual. Why would they come here?
Elsa's already head out into the main, chapel area to try and barricade the window. So I'm happy for this conversation to happen as you're
Yeah.
kind of on the way to do that, if that's what's happening. Go on, continue.
He said he didn't know. Lord Helsnecht came to presumably sort it and disappeared into the north. Never seen again. As far as anyone here knows.
That does not bode well.
And okay, so I think Elsa is a bit too busy hammering on windows to be particularly listening to this. I want everyone to give me just a straight up strength check to see how well they kind of do all this stuff. Boniface, you are now armed with a bow and arrow without anyone having particularly questioned you.
Could I do an endurance roll?
Yeah,
I don't
go
know
on.
because servants. That's the servant skill.
I'll
and I
permit
won't
that. You're lifting and carrying things to make it so other people can do the hammering. I'll go.
Yeah,
for it.
that's what I like to do. I mean, they're very similar.
I'm going to say in total we're going to need 6 successes from your group to say we boarded up the windows of the chapel.
No chance from me.
Is there any advantages or anything? Any adjustment to the roll?
Yeah, let's make it a +20. It's not super hard.
Oh wow, okay.
In which case, I get a lot.
Yeah, how many success levels from you, Justin? From Boniface?
3. If I got plus 2
Okay.
successes.
So none from Henrik, 3 from Boniface. So how many have we got from Kruger?
So my strength is 36. I rolled 7. So plus 20, you said, was it for?
Yeah, for 5 in total. Then.
Yeah, 5.
Very nice.
Boniface
So
and Kruger, well-oiled machine.
I think Okri, you're tall, but you're not, human tall, and the windows are really kind of big, tall height, and you kind of a little awkwardly you just can't reach high enough, and you kind of don't want it to become super obvious after a point, so you just kind of busy yourself doing something else momentarily. It's just one of those dwarf things.
Can I roll an endurance roll then, the same as Boniface has for running around and bringing things to people?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've already made the check now, but this is to make it so you definitely make yourself useful in the moment. If you see what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I rolled anyway. I rolled a 64. I've got endurance of 53 plus the 20.
Yeah,
That's
so you
good
get success. So you also help Kruger reaching up, and Kruger, you hammer on at a blistering weight with Okri and Boniface's help. Henrik, I think you're probably just too distracted with thinking of what's really going on.
Where are the rats?
What the deeper meaning of all these things is and how they all connect up. You just go on.
I think I slightly gave up helping. I just picked Rinder up. I'm just holding him, sort of idly watching what people are doing, but also not really watching what people are doing.
Perfect. As this is happening, you kind of, while you're doing this at the window, you hear 1 or 2 more clatters of things sound like they're thrown kind of half-heartedly at the window bars or perhaps the wall nearby, but nothing else gets through. And once you've got these kind of barricades of boards up that you just use like tables and stuff that are in the back office to kind of barricade up the windows. You are fairly comfortable that sort of like a really, forceful, persistent assault. Nothing's coming through these windows immediately. And you'll kind of step back for a moment to consider and admire your work, shall we say. And all of a sudden, there is a huge and mighty crash at the door. And something seems to be trying to force its way through. And it's certainly splintered that wood, the great oak beam that's kind of a foot thick nearly across, as half splintered through with one blow from some terrible creature. And there's a mighty bellow from outside.
If we hadn't boarded up the windows, we could shoot at it.
Or we could get out through the window. Oh, it's iron bars.
Are there any
While
other
you're-
tables around or pews or something to grab and
Yeah,
sort of
you can.
brace the door with?
Yeah,
Yeah, you could start dragging some pews towards the door and things like that. That's absolutely fine. Give me a strength check. Anyone who's doing that, joining Kruger. Elsa will join you. She likes the idea. Elsa succeeds. Yeah, she's successfully dragging a pew to the door.
31 versus a strength score of 36. So.
Yeah. Yeah, you think so it's going to be a plus 20 again as well. And
If
Okri
it's
as well.
plus 20, then I will get 1 success.
Cool. Okay. Are you doing as well, Henrik? Is everyone doing this? Or... It's fine if you're not.
Henrik is worrying about the rat
Just
council in the
snap
basement.
Henrik out of his rat. I think Henrik holds his dog like a machine gun.
It's kind of what I was imagining. Yeah. I think I don't immediately. I think I just sort of slowly put Rinda down.
Yeah, absolutely fine. Time for another roll. Okay. There's another bellow that sounds very much like a bull, as you would describe it. It's, I mean, sort of the sort of noise you might imagine, like an angry, kind of deeper, more guttural, more alien sounding, but quite like a bull. Something batters against the door again. You're all kind of braced near and against the door now, and you're kind of thrown and rattled back a bit.
Kruger is looking worried now. Kruger is definitely not happy.
Two points come through the door above where you're all kind of bracing. They look like brass metal points.
I would like to
Run away?
tactically run away. Are there?
Retreat is what it's called when you do that.
I was going to say, is there anything I can climb? Can I climb? I can
Stairs.
sort of climb. I'm trying to get into a tactical position, basically.
You're trying to get
Maybe
yourself
climbing
higher
on
up.
a nearby statue plinth and readying my sling.
I'll tell you what the most obvious thing there is. There's the what's it called? The
Pulpit,
pulpit, pulpit, the place that the preacher stands to preach. You could absolutely climb up on that and get a good spot. Raised position.
There's a sight. There's a sight.
The rat catcher up there,
Yeah.
Just
ready.
swinging his sling from the lectern. I've got a sermon for you, rat man.
Yeah,
Okay.
I run to the pulpit. I ready my sling, and I shout, "Men against beasts, stand beside me."
Excellent. I love it.
That's good.
And there's another bellow from outside. You're all bracing the door. And this time, the entire top half of the door above you splinters as a huge, intimidating, bestial head forces its way through. You see now that those... sorry, I'm trying to share my screen as I'm doing this. You see now that those two metal points were... Why is it always changed things? Those two metal points were actually like brass horn points, tips on the ends of horns. I think I'm showing...
Are we good to stream?
Now. Yeah. And
Right.
it is twice the height of any of you easily, and the breadth of a dwarf proportionally. So it's an enormous creature, probably weighs over a ton. It's only halfway through, kind of up to its shoulders through the door. Wood is splintered out, but you're still kind of bracing the doorway. And it like roars furiously at you in that kind of bellowing, oddly cowish manner, and you feel fear kind of ripple through your bodies against your better judgment in this moment. I think we'll end the session there.
I think fear is an entirely justifiable.
Yep, absolutely. I think it is.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna make a note. Your door bracing gave you an advantage. It didn't charge its way right through. It's kind of stuck halfway through the door, so you will get a round of being able to shoot at it, which is the advantage you'll get.
Right.
To be fair.
So,
I like it.
Henrik will get advantage for that from their position too. So remind me at the beginning of next session that the kind of position we're in, because I didn't want to just take away your agency from that scenario.
Wow.
Well,
Thanks.
Fun session. I'm sure you're all going to be fine, folks.
Well, I hope so. Otherwise, it'll be a very short campaign.
I'm it's almost a shame that Kruger brought the woman back, because otherwise in my brain that is who would be on the front of that shield.
I know. Do you see the shield? Yeah, it's brutal.
Oh,
God,
oh God.
that's dark.
Yeah.
No one said
is
it would
dark.
be this dark.
Look, Boniface is role playing the dog. You know, you guys know the program.
Wow.
Yeah,
So,
I'm really
yeah.
glad that we all definitely didn't take all those weapons that were sitting around.
I know. When I thought that earlier, I'm like, you still have time to go back and get weapons, but you probably should have picked up the weapons. It's fine. I mean, I didn't want to say I was hinting something, did I? I wasn't going to do that.
But yeah, but at that point we couldn't have, because then it'd just be giving in, wouldn't it? If we
I mean, I don't know. If it were me and there were lots of enemies outside, I might just have grabbed a weapon anyway, just to have with me. It's not like a sword is
just for
particularly
comfort.
heavy.
Yeah,
It's so British,
emotional
isn't it?
support sword.
Someone else might want those weapons. I'll leave them there. Like I'll leave them in the
Yeah,
back.
exactly. Someone else might need them.
I feel like
What
there's
if-
an amount.
what if one
Go on. I
was going to say, what if one of those injured old people needs those weapons? I don't want to take it from them if they want to grab one. It's fair.
Indeed.
What if there's like a fully allocated inventory system with this
don't.
arsenal in this small
Yeah.
village, and there are actually people in there that are going to run over here and go, "Oh shit, where's my sword gone?"
Exactly.
Now,
Someone's
Henrik, I know
nicked
you
it.
helped save the town, but that wasn't your allocated sword, was it?
To be fair, Boniface did pick up a bow and arrow. You noted in the chat.
A
so
bow or a
some-
short bow, do you think? Because a bow is quite flashy.
Probably a short bow then. Yeah, to be fair.
I'm happy
But
with
you
that.
can note that down that you have that.
Oh,
and,
I'm in the process of doing it.
yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, you
I don't think anyone else got any
Boniface. So.
Yeah. I don't think anyone else got other equipment in this session today. So
Kruger was just about to yell, "Oil! We need oil!"
yeah. Perfect. I love it. Yeah. You could remember to say that too.
That day.
Anyway, I'll do my sign off and then we can come to questions and things as well. So yeah, that was great. Thanks everyone for watching. That was Warhammer Fantasy 4th edition. We're having a good time. Combat's, I mean, it's a little clunky, but given that was a first session, I think that wasn't too bad. And it's always like when you're doing NPC on NPC, you can skip over the odd rule. Other than the minus advantage, I don't think we made any glaring errors. So I think we're all right. Good job, folks.
Or we can review the
know
tapes.
Yeah, well, until we get all the comments of people going, "Oh no, what are you doing? This isn't Warhammer at all." Anyway, so yeah, we're telling tales. We stream on Twitch. Stuff goes on YouTube. We have our social media, Discord, and everything. Links below. This is Mondays. Streamed every Monday. We also do Into the Odds on Wednesday and World of Darkness on Thursday at the moment. 8 p.m. GMT. All of the above. And we'll have a one shot sometime in next month on weekend day at like 3 usually GMT. Yeah, so if there's any comments or questions from our session, feel free to post them up and someone might be able to put them in. Are there any names we need to read out, John, Steve?
Yeah, so we have had a follow from Nanoslate, and since our last stream on this channel, from Mr. Onyx TV, who actually followed us after finding us on Telling Tales Games, which is our other Twitch channel where we sometimes play video games, and we were actually playing Vermintide 2, so it was relevant to this.
I know. I think I should probably get that.
I like 42's suggestion that we set fire to the pews to scare the monsters. Even though that we would be in a church that's been barred up. That's also on fire.
They're not. They're gonna.
Why don't we do the monster jobs for us and just set fire to ourselves?
Exactly. They're not going to want to attack a burning church, are they? It's not much point in doing that, really.
Them.
That would be a great intimidation tactic.
Come running out, screaming and on fire while charging. Excellent.
Isn't there some kind of apocryphal historical story of some people, committed, killing themselves as the start of a fight? Like we're so tough. We'll literally stab ourselves.
It sounds either Douglas Adams or Terry Pratchett.
Yeah, you're right. We're so badass. We're going to set fire to ourselves.
It does sound grim and perilous to me.
That's true.
Vlad the Impaler sort of did that, but not with his own troops.
No.
Yeah. No, fair dues. Well, history. That's. I'm sure Matt will correct me at some point.
I'm sure.
What else we got?
It doesn't.
I don't know at what point this was posted, but I think Jonny was right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Unfortunately, I was posting it as a joke, and then I was like, "That's probably what's going to happen." Actually,
I'm sorry. It was genuinely the story plan. I was like, no, it makes sense. There's even a thing where it's like people board up the windows. It's probably a good idea, to be fair. But it's like, but it literally says in there the one-shot thing. And then as soon as the windows are boarded, I'm like, oh, well, okay, it's just setting you up, isn't it? Mean game.
That's funny.
Yeah.
The crack suicide watching.
Have 42, Rinda, I choose you. Chuck's dog at monsters.
I wonder if you could like sling, is the sling
Oh
big
my
enough?
god, yes, combined. Yeah.
Or you could do is it Wolverine and Colossus have a thing called the fastball special, where Colossus just literally just lobs Wolverine into the middle of the fight.
Yeah.
Just do that.
I could try
Shot
lobbing
Rinda.
Boniface.
Yeah, you could.
That
You
could
could
work.
try that.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty strong. I could throw you.
I mean, you're actually stronger than Kruger, I think, aren't you? To be
Really?
fair? Yeah.
I'm good at lifting things. That's what I do all day.
Have you seen the size of the bags that he carries in the character
Exactly.
art?
I have no idea what's in the
Like,
bags.
large
You have like
bags.
no equipment. It's just large bags of
It's just
rocks. Or
rocks,
something. But
yeah.
I've even how I even threw a frying pan on the side of it because I'm like, all servants carry frying pans.
I know.
And then last session we established that Boniface does not know how to cook.
Well, I was looking at this. Like, I cook using my endurance skill. So, make from that what you will.
Wow.
That's my career skill, and that's one of my career things that I do is cooking for whoever I'm servant for.
it might not be good, but it's going to take a long time to get there.
I heard you like your steak. Really, 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 really well done.
I was going to say at this point, long time to eat as well.
Endurance to cook, endurance to eat it. Like, this is one skill for the whole thing.
Oh, that's great.
There's an option. Cook a steak, lob it at the whatever big bull type creature that is.
It's a bit spoilery, but one of its features is hungry, and it's actually a big negative for the creature. So you'd be surprised how that could actually work.
I'm keeping Rinda very far away from it.
We'll just feed it some townspeople.
Night Bites. I love the map under the backdrop. Very subtle. I almost didn't spot it.
Yeah, it looks great. I'm really happy with that backdrop, Steve. Good job. It's real nice.
Cheers. Yeah, I try to aim for just sort of textured stuff that's still vaguely relevant.
Yeah, because if it was like full color, it would distract too much, wouldn't it? So it's a nice level of just like you can notice it and you can see it and you can read it too if you want to, but not like it's not there too much. Like on the right hand side there is Grunberg. That's where you're heading for the moment. Isn't that nice?
Maybe we should encourage people to read the map when we're debating rules. Say yourself, see if you can find this village.
Where's yes.
Yeah. And a new village each session.
Yeah. The map itself comes from it's the back cover of it. It's the end paper for the rule book, and is also available on Cubicle 7's site, I guess, somewhere.
Okay.
Cool. Are there any other? Yep. There's one.
42 again. On rainy days, does Rinda smell like wet dog and rat death? I don't think it needs to be rainy. I'll be honest. I mean, remember that most of Henrik's career was down in the sewers, so the wet dog and rat death is probably the least obscene part of that smell, and I think it's probably just hard baked in at this point.
Oh God.
Oh.
It's not like you
Hard
wash
baked is not something I want in that. To live with those words.
Rinda's just crispy.
Fantastic.
What was the oof in response to then?
That was in response to the smell being baked in.
I see. That immediate response. Oh, yeah, I agree.
And very good point from Jonny. I hope Elsie doesn't turn out to be the secret big bad, or we might be in trouble.
Yeah, she's badass, Elsa, isn't she? So
Yeah.
might be. Let's hope so.
Very bad.
I hope she doesn't die in the next session.
Well, if she doesn't, she's definitely not the big bad.
Well, it's the dice
Unless
will
she comes
decide.
back.
the Tyson, you guys. Yeah, to be fair, that could happen as well too, couldn't it?
Oh God.
In variety of ways.
Okay, let's call it there.
Thanks, everyone.
That's fun. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks for joining us, everyone. As I said, hope to see you again soon on any of our streams. But I look forward to seeing you next week if nowhere else. Take
Definitely
care.
look forward
Bye-bye.
to seeing you on Wednesday.